Hello, friends. Welcome back. I have one little friend here I see, and my other pal there who snores a lot. So you will probably hear him. So, anyway, I'm so glad you're here. Today, I thought we would talk a little bit about grief and the expectations around grief, or the triggers really around grief. And for me personally, I've just been thinking and reflecting on some parts of my journey throughout these past few years, and I thought I would share. For me personally, I'll just share going to church was really complicated for me for a number of reasons and for a much longer amount of time than I would have thought. And so I was thinking to myself just maybe a couple weeks ago that I can sit through church now without feeling like everyone around me can see right through me, can see and know my inner pain. That is such a vulnerable, terrifying kind of feeling. And when someone has experienced a betrayal, when someone has experienced a life altering, wounding event, it's a pretty common feeling to just feel like everyone can look at you and just surmise everything there is to know. You just feel incredibly vulnerable in that situation. And of course, that's not logical. That's not true. Yes, there were many tears in church. People obviously could tell something was going on, but people can't just look at you and know. And that's a really important thing to remember, because when we're feeling like that, we have the tendency maybe to really withdraw and pull back from relationships, pull back from the doing things and going to places that are actually really good for us. And withdrawing and then ultimately being in isolation, that is not good for us. I'm not talking about having moments where we pull back and we rest or we reflect and just need that quiet time alone. I'm talking about feeling like we can't take the risk of being that exposed or being found out in that way. And so we're just not going to do it at all. And that kind of isolation, that kind of withdrawal can be really damaging, especially when we're already in a very wounded, vulnerable situation or position. We need people, and we need safe people. We need community. Isolation isn't going to do us any favors. So, anyway, at the beginning of that, when I mentioned church, it had dawned on me that I don't cry when we sing worship songs anymore. And funny enough, tears just started kind of stinging at my eyes just now thinking about it. I'm not sure why. But for years, for years, I struggled with this. Anytime we would sing worship music, sometimes one or two tears fell. Other times, this girl could not keep it together, and I would need to sit down and put my head down or have a bag filled with tissues or something ready for me in preparation, because there was just something so powerful and vulnerable and maybe just really uncomfortable, even though being that vulnerable with God doesn't feel that uncomfortable. Maybe just the setting and having that feeling that all those eyes are on me. And then, of course, if I'm having myself a moment or a couple of moments, that vulnerability feeling is extremely heightened, and it's uncomfortable. And so I guess all of that to say that I would encourage you, stick with it. If you're feeling the tendency to draw back and withdraw from church, withdraw from relationships or community, I would encourage you to reconsider, because we need to be involved in our church community. We need to be involved in meaningful relationships. And it's okay if certain things just feel harder than others. You can give yourself grace, and you can still participate. You can still show up and be part of that church community or that other friendship group or what have you. The alternative to just be missing out on that is not going to do us any favors long term. So maybe the challenge is to give yourself grace enough to accept where you're at, tears and all, and still be willing to show up. You matter, and your story matters. And if people around you aren't going to be supportive, or maybe they're going to make a judgment of you, okay, let them. You don't really need to worry about their opinion of you or their judgment of you. The people who truly love you and want to be there for you, they're going to take you tears and all, I promise. So we can let go of that expectation that we're going to show up and we're just going to power through. You don't have to do that to yourself. You can just show up and accept where you're at and be where you're at, and also know that's going to change over time. You won't always be at that place. Now, I haven't cried during worship time at church for a few weeks, as I was saying earlier. And I didn't even realize until I was reflecting on that and thinking about that after the fact. And I'm not saying that tears won't come again. Of course, they probably will. But that felt really good to have consistently shown up at my church, even on those days when I felt like hiding. And I'll be really honest, for whatever reason, ever since the beginning of this year, I've just had this pull to withdraw, to not bother. And I don't know where that's coming from, but I know that that's not coming from the Lord. And I know that that is the makings of a sinful pattern, and I don't want that in my life. And I certainly don't want to model that for my children. And so even when it's not the most comfortable thing to get going, we go and we show up. And even this past week, some sweet friends were asking how I was doing, and I let them know. It has not been a very smooth couple of weeks for a variety of reasons. And I was tempted to just say, the good old, fine, we're fine. But instead, I just shared a little bit with them. And they thanked me. They actually thanked me for being honest, and probably scaring them a little bit. But no, I'm just kidding. They know me well. And people can handle your honesty. And if you've got people in your life who can't, keep looking, because there are people around you who want to be there for you, and they want to know what's really going on so that they can show up for you. But you've got to be honest with yourself before you can be honest with the people around you. Hey friends, I just realized that I got interrupted when I was filming before and the video never actually got an ending. So this is the official ending, shaky arm and all, and sorry for the echo. I'm in my front entryway and it's echoey in here. So anyway, I just wanted to say this. Everybody's grief journey looks different, and that's okay. My purpose in sharing mine is so that if you can identify with that, maybe you'll feel a little less alone or feel like somebody gets it, somebody understands you. I get it, I understand. And so sharing my experience about church and just the complicatedness of church and that feeling of being exposed and thinking that everyone can just see right through you and see that pain on the inside. Sometimes that can keep us from showing up, and we don't need to let it. And so I hope that encourages you to keep going, keep trying. Your feelings aren't going to feel like this forever. You will feel differently. And yeah, I guess that's it. I just wanted to encourage you. So if this did encourage you, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share this with somebody who might be going through a challenging or difficult time, and we'll chat soon. Bye.